Hi everybody, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert from Mobility Engineering, back again for another Q&A. Thank you very much for sending in those questions, and please keep them coming, we love them. And as we always say with our trusty subscribe pillow, please, please, please help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So hit that button down there somewhere that looks like this, and we'd really love your support to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we'll get something new going on with this pillow. All right, on to today's question. So today's question is in our trial and assessment centre with our transporter trial van. Basically, it's around transporting a bariatric patient in their wheelchair, and a bariatric patient is someone who is 150 kilos plus. So basically the question goes along the lines of, I have a 150 kilo plus patient, I think it was about 165 kilos, they are seated in their wheelchair. When they are transporting around, they sit in the wheelchair and transport it around, so it's in wheelchair transport. And so what do we need to do, and how do we need to consider this, because this is the first patient that we've had like this. So we've had a look through and we've done some research, and there is 3 main considerations that you need to have, and we're going to talk about each one of those basically right now. So the very first one is you need to have a transport approved wheelchair that is approved for to carry the weight of that occupant. So transport approved wheelchair means it's got transport tie down points. So we've got a quickie from our friends at Sunrise Medical. This is not a heavy bariatric wheelchair. This is a normal one, but I'm just using this for the purpose of demonstration. It will look a little bit like this, but it'll just be bigger, the bariatric ones. So you've got your transport points, and you've got, on the specifications, you've got ratings that specify that it is able to carry a patient of 150, 60, 70, whatever is the weight of your patient or your client. The wheelchair must be approved to carry that weight. All of it as well. So not just the wheelchair base, but the wheelchair seat and seat back. All of it has to be spec'd up for that particular weight rating of that client. And generally speaking, anything 150 kilo plus bariatric area is a different product. So like I said, this is a standard product. For a bariatric patient, it will be looking similar, but just a lot bigger. All right, so that's the first thing we need to consider. The second thing we need to consider is getting them into the vehicle. So they're going to get into the vehicle with a lifter like this one, right? That lifts them up and takes them in. And the lifter is going to be basically accommodated with the wheelchair. So I'll just take this on now. We're just going to go on so you can see what we're talking about. And there is going to be an occupant sitting in the wheelchair as well as the wheelchair, right? And in some cases you may have a carer on the frame, on the platform, but in most cases the carer actually stands to the side of the platform and raises the platform, right? So they will stand to the side and raise that platform. Now, this lifter needs to be able to accommodate the weight of the wheelchair and the occupant, right? So let's talk about that and talk about standard wheelchair lifters, because you're going to need a non-standard wheelchair lifter. So wheelchair lifters, standard wheelchair lifters in Australia, when we say standard, they are around about that 350 kilo safe working load mark. So that's not going to be enough for the bariatric patient in a lot of cases. Because what you're going to have is you're going to have, let's say, just using some basic maths, 150 kilos to 170 kilos, let's say, of patient. And then on top of that, the bariatric chairs themselves are 150 to 200 kilos themselves, right? Particularly if it's a power chair like that. So add that all up and you're at that 350 or above mark, right? And then if you want to have a carer stand there, or you need someone else holding on, then you're not going to work, right? It's just not going to work. So there are heavy duty lifters out there that have a larger weight capacity, and you need to have one of those, right? Then the next thing, which I'll just drop this down so you can see what we're talking about, and I'm just going to bring it out. So the next thing we've got, and I'll get you to just have a look into the car on this side, is we've got the wheelchair tie down and occupant restraint system. So we have a lap and sash seatbelt here, which is manufactured by Unwin, or Brawnability, sorry. And we also have a restraint here that's got hooks on it that's manufactured by Brawnability as well. So first of all, all of these things need to be the heavy-duty version. So on the market of restraints, there is two types of restraints. There's your standard restraints, which is like these ones, and then there is a heavy-duty version, and the heavy-duty version generally, again, looks very similar, but it's thicker and a bit more chunky. So you'll find that the retractor body is a lot bigger. When you pull the belt out, it's a lot wider belt. And what we've seen on the market, the hooks are actually not thicker. There's two of them stuck together. So you get double the hook power, basically. So see how this is a single hook? You'll normally have two welded together. So you've got a double hook, you've got a thicker strap, and you've got a bigger body, and that's a heavy-duty restraint, which will have more heavy-duty amounts in the car and more heavy-duty seatbelts. So you've got a heavier-duty wheelchair tie-down occupant restraint system, you've got a heavier-duty lifter, and you've got a heavier-duty transport-approved wheelchair. So if you've got all of those three things fitted to the vehicle, certified, engineered correctly, then you are able to carry your bariatric patient of 150 kilos plus within their wheelchair within the vehicle. Right, so hopefully that helps with that question. Basically making sure we consider all of those factors for our bariatric patient traveling whilst in the wheelchair, and hopefully that answers all of those requirements. And any further questions, always bring them through, and we always love creating videos for those questions. So thank you very much for tuning into that video, and we'll see you next time.